Okay, this is a video to show you where the Webxchange idea came from, what it is, how to do it, and some learnings that we've had along the way, and also why an organization would choose to do this. So first thing, how did the Webxchange idea come about? Many MFRCs have told us during training conferences that one of the most valuable aspects of meetings were the ability to network and check in with each other on good ideas, what works for them, what doesn't work for military families. The problem with this was that there was limited funding for travel to get together in person. And big training resulted in lots of downtime in service provision because the service providers would be traveling, and so families they'd have a hard time covering the services at the MFRCs while the service providers were off across the country getting trained. Also, we had limited funding and personnel available that meant that only a few staff got to attend. So it might be one or two staff per MFRC rather than all the service providers. And given the costs and time associated with big training, there was often a big interval between trainings with little networking opportunities in between. But since we now have many virtual vehicles like WebEx available for networking, we decided that we'd provide a virtual vehicle and we could work out the tech on the virtual MFRC level and the invites. Basically, we'd look after everything and the MFRCs would simply show up, supply the topics, and talk about things that they already know about. So in order to make this as accessible as possible for everyone, we structured the web exchanges to be informal, little or no prep necessary for the presenters, available via computer and telephone, so accessible even if they have no non-D1 internet connection, for instance. WebEx works on the D1. Also that it be short, 30 minutes maximum, so it could be over a lunch hour so people can squeeze it between other things, and middle of the day so that it fits many time zones and falls over the lunch hour. All right. So what is a web exchange? It's basically an informal chat to network around innovative ideas about family support at the MFRC level. It's facilitated by virtual MFRC. And how do we do it? We use WebEx and teleconference with MFS coordinating and about 1 to 2 MFRCs usually chatting for a few minutes about some of their great ideas. And here are some of the ideas you can see on the slide here that we've had and the numbers of people who have showed up, the service providers. So why do we do it? So in addition to the reasons that I mentioned before, there are several benefits. First of all, this is a professional development and networking opportunity for MFRC service providers to profile and share their strengths. Everybody likes to talk about what they're good at. And also the quote down at the bottom, "A rising tide lifts all boats." It raises all the MFRCs and equalizes the ability of excellence in service delivery across many locations. So in many MFRCs, you have new staff coupled with seasoned staff who have a significant learning curve behind them. So why not share that knowledge? Also, families have often called for more consistency in services between locations. Why can't I get the same service here as I got back there at the other MFRC? So while services will and should still be tailored to local needs and resources, by sharing best practices like things like the Web Exchange, we can create more consistency in the level of service delivery offered. What are some of the learnings that we've had? Firstly, you need to stay on time. This leaves the audience wanting more rather than looking at their watches and wondering when it's going to end. Also, keeping it interactive is critical with virtual services. Just like with social media, the more you give or interact and engage with the audience, the more you get back. People get bored of listening, of looking at a screen or listening. So asking them a quick question to check in helps to keep them engaged. Also have some visual aspects to the presentation or the web exchange, and this helps to keep people engaged. If if you think about it, are you more inclined to pay attention to an eye-catching picture or an engaging video or a page of text? Make sure you provide some visual interest because chances are you'll gravitate towards the picture or the visual aspect of the video. Also have 2 to 3 key messages, and this helps keep the presenter focused and on time and helps draw a consistent thread throughout the presentation rather than simply being a brain dump from the presenter. Otherwise, the attendee might be left with the perspective of, so what was the bottom line? What did I actually learn from this? All right, this is a breakdown of some of the nitty-gritty of the how to do the web exchange. I'll go into this more detail later, but it shows what needs to happen beforehand, during, and after. And it looks like a lot, but I can tell you once you've done one or two, they're pretty quick to organize and host. So why should you care about this idea of the web exchange? Why would an organization put this effort into such a thing? Well, you've heard some of the rationales before earlier in this video. Also, this slide shows the kind of impact you can have. Many more people can attend than your usual in-person event because it's virtual, it's easy access, it's over a lunch hour, it's only 30 minutes. We've had many MFRCs involved thus far, and you'll see that this slide is actually out of date. There's been many more since I created this slide a few years ago. But we've had many different participants across the MFRCs attend, and the service providers who are really the tactical level on the ground get to profile their strengths. And many have never presented before, especially to other MFRCs, but they have a lot of experience to share. So this is a really great opportunity to provide them with basically you're facilitating their ability to share that knowledge. You can also increase your reach by providing the videos of the session. We've had people view the videos well, as of this stat here, you can see we had people view the videos more than 600 times. And since the web exchanges started in 2017, and that's actually even more since then. So hopefully this gave you a bit of a background on the web exchange.